Hey Clashers, a part of the community right now is really triggered by this one tile spam mass thrower strategy. And to be honest, this name already says everything you need to know. Because everything you do with this approach is that you're dumping all of your throwers in one spot with the healers, the warden, and the lock launcher. Then you have the queen with the druid on one flank and the king with the royal gem on the other, and then you're just using totems wherever they're needed and protecting your troops. This is the entire concept here, and it's just crushing bases left and right. Obviously, a part of the community now is kind of triggered and saying this last balance changes were one of the worst in the history. Throwers are completely broken right now, and everything is just going downhill. The question now, though, here is, and while I agree that throwers are a little bit too strong, are they really the core issue? And as well, is there maybe someone else to blame than just Supercell? It would be kind of shocking if this approach would work with other troops as well, right? Let's just try it with witches, because witches, they have not even received a new level on Town Hall 17. They are arguably not broken on Town Hall 18, at least I think everyone would agree on that. So what happens now if we do the exact same thing? Dump all of the witches in one spot, have the warden and everything behind, even though I'm forgetting the warden right now deployed. I mean, there's already a bit too many steps in this approach for me personally, but hey, I'm about to use the warden, don't worry. But everything else is exactly the same. We're doing everything the exact same way. With the community saying that throwers are the issue, this cannot work, right? Like, this is not really how it's then supposed to be, because the throwers are the issue. Well, let me explain you this. Sometimes, especially the active community player base is really sure about what their vision of the game is. This is the meta, this works, this doesn't work. And I have to 100% say that I am as well sometimes like that. I have my specific vision of the game and I'm like, this works, this doesn't, and so on. But sometimes there are just things in the game which were just not discovered yet. And one of those things is just the life gem. Because myself and I guess many other people included were just, hey, life gem, maybe balloons, but mostly things like hybrid or something, right? Like, that makes sense. But they're not really that strong right now, so life gem is just still not the great equipment everyone's hoping for. Well, maybe it's not as bad and people were just not playing it right. That could be the issue as well. Just spamming everything into one corner could just work. And let me tell you, not just witches work, as well super archers can work, as well as regular bowlers can work. And if you don't trust me, let's just skip those examples and just go straight to one of the possibly worst troop combinations and still make them work. Like, for example, what could be, I guess, Barge, like Barbarians and Archers, maybe a little bit too over the top, but let's just do it with Giants and Wizards, right? Like, that is not OP, at least I hope no one says that, but that Wizards and Giants are OP. First off, I'm kind of struggling with deploying so many Giants at the same time, but hey, yeah, it has been some time where I deployed 36 or something troops in a quick time in one spot, okay? So that's not as easy as it looks. But with this working as well, I feel like the issue is kind of a little bit deeper. So obviously by now, hopefully you have gotten the message, and I was able to get the message across. Life Gem was sleeper OP. The same as obviously the best combination for this overall approach is, and that is not like really the question, is for sure with the throwers. And the throwers, the last buff should be reverted. But at the same time, I feel like there are a lot of things as well where people were just not playing it, where people were just not coming up with it. And then it's always the question, if millions of players are not coming up with a specific use case of the equipment of the Life Gem, for example, how are devs then supposed to do that? Well, like, don't get me wrong, I have been criticizing Supercell recently a lot about a lot of different things. But I feel like this is something where it's kind of unfair to really just only blame them, because this worked before the last balance change as well, by the way. So yeah, I mean, this even works in esports. So yeah, overall, I would say unfortunate situation. I just hope that Supercell is going to react, do some adjustments here and there. For me, critical things which are helping to make this strategy work in that way as it is the Life Gem. I think as well is the Totem spell. And those are already like big first steps, which you could take a look at. Throwers, as I said earlier already, the last buff should be just reverted pretty much. They're still strong, they're still usable, don't get me wrong, like they're completely fine. But I guess that is something then for the future which Supercell needs to figure out. I just hope that if we as well get that update in February, if that is something which is actually going to happen, that we're going to see some of those changes then happening in there. So we do not, like, we're not stuck for too long with this approach. And that's why you could now argue, iTzu, you just pick the best attacks. I could completely agree with that. That's why I'm showing you the attack log. I just did both attacks just once, and that's it. But I think we should just dive into some thrower attacks, because no question about it, they are the strongest version of this one tile spam. And a really important message, which I'm just trying to get across from this video, is, I mean, first off, obviously, a lot of times, like, don't be too toxic and try to, like, jump to conclusions too quickly. But at the same time, do not just always blindly follow content creators, pro players, whatever, when it comes down to what is actually the meta. Because we can now clearly see one of the big issues is the life gem, right? Like, that thing makes certain things really, really strong. So, yeah, just to make sure that we are all on the same page here. And even like myself, if... Oh, okay, that might be a little bit baited, so let's see. I'm looking for if that works or not. Let's use the king here, royal gem there, queen with her ability, druid, whatever. And now let's see how good or not good this is going to work. A lot of traps down here. So I kind of want to see what happens if we're running into the bait, kind of. So, are the throws even going in? Hopefully they are. They are! Perfect for us. Okay, nice. Now let's do a couple of, on the outside, like, totems again. Like, this is another thing, right? Like, with the totems, it is really, really tricky, because whenever there's anything in danger, like outside, on the flank, like in general, or like in the core, if the raged up guardian could be on my like, throwers, I just pop a totem and everything is fine. So, yeah, it is a little bit strange. It is a bit strange, that is for sure. Let's just keep going with our totems. Clan castle coming out, let's use that. And we should be good to go. I mean, there is a reason why this is the one tile spam army composition. At the same time, though, I feel like bases are adjusting already a little bit. So, it is not as broken as it was in the beginning. It is a really good counter versus the current meta bases, which is for sure. But at the same time, I'm not saying that things should not be changed. And I'm not saying on the other side, though, it should be over-nerfed, by the way. I'm not one of those people right now who are on social media saying, oh, that should be killed, that should be nerfed, that would be whatever. But I think we can all agree that something like this is not really that healthy for the game, right? Like, even the super duper casual players right now have to agree that this is not how the game is supposed to be. I hope that people can understand that, because I know whenever we're talking about balance changes, there's always, I feel like there's pretty much never something in between. It's always like the more casual side, it's always crying when there is a nerf. While on the other side, if like nerf regarding like offensive power, and then when there is a nerf on the defensive side, like modifiers or the last defense changes, the more competitive or the more active player bubble is then crying. So it's like, but I feel like we can all agree together that this is not as healthy, okay? Please. I mean, I do not want to be, again, like the guy who's like, oh, I'm crying for nerfs or something. Because actually, I typically, in the last year or something, I did that quite not as often. But, yeah. Yeah. Either way, if you want to give it a try as well, before, I mean, I think we all hope for the same, like this is going to be nerfed. So, and it should be. So, if you want to get it, if you want to use it before it's getting nerfed, the link is down below in the description of the video. You can as well do some adjustments. I've seen now already some people getting rid of like 1 or 2 throwers to have like more test loons, maybe some test giants, because people are already like placing all of their spring traps in the corner and such. So you can bait it if you heavily commit a lot of traps into it. So yeah, at least some of the entries, I guess. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video a little bit. Me playing Mass Witches, that was for sure not on my bingo card for 2026, that I'm playing Mass Witches and Mass Giants in Legend modifier. But hey, here we are. It's kind of funny. And before people are saying again, the modifier changes were not necessary, those things work in esports mode as well. This is not the core issue or something, right? So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening to my yapping, and I will see you guys back tomorrow with the next Flash video. Until then, see ya. and bye bye.